One of the key features of iPadOS 16 has irritated many iPad users since it needs the M1 chip, leaving users of previous iPad models with the traditional iPadOS multitasking system, which does not support floating windows. What more is there to know about the iPadOS saga? We will inform you about this, as well as some iPad features. So please join us today as we discuss the Stage Manager for iPadOS 16, what you don't know. The Stage Manager controversy. It's nothing unusual for new gear to have exclusive functionality. In contrast, when it comes to Apple's Stage Manager, people are skeptical of Apple's claims. Having a virtual memory swap that is only accessible on the M1 processor was critical to Stage Manager, since the capability enables up to 8 programs open simultaneously. After all, the 64GB iPad Air 5, which supports Stage Manager, does not have a memory swap. Stage Manager's slick animations and attractive shadows need a high level of performance, according to Apple executives. So far, Apple has not said whether or not it plans to revisit iPadOS 16 Stage Manager. A few complaints led Apple to make it accessible for Intel Macs, too. However, we are curious as to whether we'll be able to see how Stage Manager functions with non-M1 iPads in the future due to a jailbreak tool, but we have some information in regards to that, so stay tuned. Why Stage Manager is limited to M1 iPads. In Apple's iPadOS 16 news release, the firm mentions the new display zoom feature that is also limited to M1 iPads, as well as the virtual memory swap mechanism that enables it. According to Apple, with virtual memory swap, iPad storage can be used to expand the available memory for all apps and delivers up to 16 gigabytes of memory for the most demanding apps, helping to make multitasking seamless. If display zoom capabilities that are unique to M1 iPads are only feasible due to virtual memory swap, the same probably holds for Stage Manager. It's not hard to think that a feature that can manage this many active windows would need access to more RAM. Features of iPadOS 16. Number 5. External display support. Full support for external displays has also been added to the iPad and iPadOS 16. Even though iPadOS previously allowed external displays, its use was limited since it merely reflected what was on your iPad screen. Additionally, it didn't use wider aspect ratios for all applications. While your current app windows remain on your iPad screen, when you connect a compatible iPad running iPadOS 16, your background and dock will stretch to your external display. When you start an app from the dock and move your iPad's pointer to the external display, Stage Manager will launch on your external display. In addition to resizing and overlapping windows, you may group programs in windows, drag and drop files from there, and so on. You can use your iPad and an external display together to run up to 8 applications at once. Number 4. Display scaling and reference mode. Regarding screens, iPadOS 16 also adds a few additional display modes. The first of them is display scaling, which enables you to modify the pixel density on your iPad to maximize the amount of material you view. This feature might be quite useful when using split view. Display scaling needs an M1 iPad, much like other multitasking functions. Reference mode is the second brand new display setting. Reference mode enables the iPad to show reference color standards for picture and video editing, making it ideal for color-critical workflows. Once again, reference mode is not compatible with all iPad models since it needs the most recent iPad Pro 12.9 and an Apple Silicon-equipped Mac. That's a
Bummer.
And it'll be a bummer for us too if you don't subscribe to this channel with notifications. We guarantee that you will get the greatest content on Apple here. Number 3. Desktop class apps. With the swanky new multitasking capabilities in iPadOS 16, Apple now elevates applications with further desktop class improvements. Customizable toolbars, search boxes that display the same spot throughout all applications, context menus that allow for multiple choices and actions, inline undo and redo options, find and replace, and more are a few instances of Apple's built-in iPad apps. Additionally, Apple said that iPadOS 16 will have app-specific desktop functionality. One of them is for the Files app, where you may modify file extensions and get more information on your documents and folders. You can quickly share contacts by dragging and dropping them into the Mail app, while the Calendar app lets you check the availability of meeting invitees. Number 2. Weather. Weather for the iPad will have a similar look and feel as the iPhone app, with the same wacky animations for weather conditions and thorough climate information, just on a bigger scale. You may see modules for a 10-day forecast, hourly forecast, precipitation, UV index, and more on the iPad in one quick look. A weather module may be tapped to get further information, graphs, and forecasts. Number 1. Handwriting Improvements. Apple is releasing a key new feature for iPad users who like handwriting straightening. As its name indicates, iPadOS 16 will enable users to tidy up handwritten notes with an option that automatically aligns text. Using the functionality in iPadOS 16 needs just a few touches since it utilizes the same method for picking text that we now use. For instance, simply touch and drag over your notes, and a new straighten option will appear among choices for copying and pasting. What to expect with iPadOS 16 on non-M1 iPads? Utilizing the iPadOS 16 developer beta on an iPad Air 4 has led us to the conclusion that it is not a substantial upgrade. iCloud shared photo library, messages, mail, Safari, and other applications will get upgrades. However, iOS 16 also supports all of these functionalities. If you have an iPad with an A-series processor and don't have Stage Manager, iPadOS 16 seems stale. Notably, if you possess an iPad with a CPU that is older than the A12 Bionic chip, you will also be unable to enjoy the brand new dictation experience, which is designed to make voice, touch, and Apple Pencil input more fluid. On this note, check out our video on iPadOS 16 versus iPadOS 15. Not much of difference. This will shock you. In any case, with a public beta, a rival registered developer may now download iPadOS 16. The release of iPadOS 16 will be free for the rest of us sometime in the autumn, perhaps in conjunction with the release of new iPhone and iPad models.